Hello everyone, I hope that you're doing amazing wherever you are in the world. My name is Shikha and I welcome you to my channel. As always, I'm so grateful that you're listening, subscribing and commenting. I really appreciate the support. And in this one, I wanted to speak to you about walling ourselves off, closing ourselves off as INFJs. And if you've been doing it for a long time, if you've been doing it for years and years, as I have, how do you open yourself up again? And that's a question that was asked by a viewer. I thought it was a brilliant question. Not that I have all the answers to it because I'm in the process of opening myself up. So I'm just kind of going to share what I'm doing in order to do that. And maybe you can relate to it, maybe you can't. The point is that I'm just sharing the way I'm doing it. And of course, the first point of all of this is to realize that you're walled off, that you're closed up, that you are in that mode of staying in your cave for way too long and that it's not healthy. The point is that most people don't realize that it's unhealthy. The point is that most people, especially INFJs, assume that it's okay for them to close themselves off and it's okay for them to not talk to anyone for days or weeks or even months and years on end, that they're happy like that, which they might be happy, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's healthy. And they need to realize that eventually, unless they die before that, eventually they will have to open themselves up again because human beings are social creatures. And there have been hundreds of studies done, well, at least dozens that I've read, where it says over and over again that loneliness is actually one of the major killers of humanity, of human beings in general, because it's an inherent social need, it's an inherent health need to be social, to be around people, to have people that love you around you and that you love around them. And we just need that in order to be calm, in order to be at peace, in order to be content, in order to be physically healthy. Our bones, our muscles, our cells need it. Yeah? Not even the cells in our bodies work by themselves. There's no cell in our body that's sitting there thinking, all right, cool, so yeah, I think I can do the whole job, every job in this body by myself. I'm just going to do it by myself. They all work in synchronicity with each other, they all work in tandem with each other, and they work as a family, as a group, as a unit to accomplish something greater, which is taking care of the body, obviously, right? And if we consider, and I've heard this analogy many times from my yoga teachers, that if we consider ourselves to be a unit in this whole, which we are, then we need to realize that we can't do it ourselves. We might be able to do some things ourselves, of course, and we can be independent in certain manners. I'm not saying that we need to completely integrate ourselves back into humanity, but there have to be moments in between where we are not walling ourselves off, where we're not closing ourselves off, and we're opening our heart, opening ourselves to the world. Now that's a healthy way of looking at it. Unhealthily, of course, as I thought for the longest time, I was like, yeah, I don't need anyone, I can be myself, everything's fine, everything's dandy. And in fact, people are terrible and they're going to pull me back, they're going to push me away, and I don't need that kind of rejection, I don't need that kind of fear or doubt or anxiety. I'm fine on my own, yeah? So as I said, the first step is moving from that unhealthy viewpoint to that healthy viewpoint where you're like, all right, cool, yeah, I think I'm doing it the wrong way, that I need to move towards humanity, that I need to open myself up. As soon as you have that realization, then you can start taking further steps. The next step I would definitely say is that if you're an empath or an HSP, make sure that you take care of yourself first. I'm not saying that when you open yourself up, you completely open yourself up to everything, positive or negative. And we have a tendency to do that, obviously, as individuals, or as INFJs. We're like, all or nothing. I'm completely closed off or I'm going to be completely open. And so we don't protect ourselves. Because I'm not saying that when we're opening ourselves up to everything, positive, negative, terribly negative as well. We're saying that, all right, I'm opening myself up, but if something shows up that is not good for me, that's toxic, I'm going to close myself up again. And that's a possibility. That's absolutely allowed. We're not going to be open beacons of light. We're going to be like a lighthouse, blinking on and off depending on the situation, depending on what's needed, right? So that's, again, another understanding that you need to have, is that opening up yourself doesn't mean that you can't close yourself up again. But make sure that's, again, not a permanent closure, that we don't say, all right, I tried opening myself up for a few hours and it was terrible, I hated it. So yeah, I'm closing myself back up again and I'm never going to open myself up again. And it was a terrible idea. She doesn't know what she's talking about, right? because that's not the point either. It's about practice as well, about knowing when to open yourself up, knowing who you can open yourself up around. Make sure that the person, the people, the situation that you're opening up yourself to isn't dangerous, isn't negative, isn't toxic, isn't narcissistic, right? Make sure that it's a good situation to open yourself up to, a safe situation, a secure situation, at first at least, because you're a newbie at it. You're opening yourself up for the first time, like a baby that would. They just don't go rampaging into random dangerous situations. Well, maybe they do, but a human being is always there to protect them from it, hopefully. A loved one, a caregiver. We don't have that. We're adults, so we have to take care of ourselves. And so we're not going into every situation thinking, all right, well, she said to open myself up, so I see that there's a very toxic, narcissistic person here, but if I'm going to open myself up, I'm going to open up to everyone. No, that's not the idea here, right? And so be careful about the situations you open yourself up to. Be very cognizant of them and make sure that you're a little bit discerning. You're not just randomly doing whatever, going into any situation and opening yourself up. And also I would say that one of the most important things about it is to make sure that you're grounded, you stay grounded, and that you make sure that your self-care routines stay on point. One of the things I've noticed for myself is that, as soon as I start opening myself up to people, I notice in my empathic nature that they need certain things. And I'm like, oh, I could do this for them, I could do that for them, they need this, they need that, I'm going to do this for them, I'm going to do that for them. And in that mood, I notice that I start depleting myself, and I forget that I'm still a human being that needs to take care of herself. I'm not just a giver, I'm a receiver as well, and I need to receive as well. So it's our absolute responsibility to open ourselves up, but also our absolute responsibility to take care of ourselves while we're opening up. So yeah, make sure you don't open yourself up in dangerous situations, but also when you're done with the situation, going back home and into your cave, make sure you take care of yourself. Do your self-care stuff. Don't forget all that. Just because you're opening yourself up, it doesn't mean that you don't need it anymore. Actually, you might need it even more, because there might be a lot of things you're dealing with that are not good for you, or they are draining, that are exhausting, that are going to cause you perhaps to burn out. So of course, again, be discerning, be careful. Don't just go blasé into it with like guns firing and be like, all right, I'm a cowboy or a cowgirl or a cow person, and I'm just gonna go for it. I'm not gonna even think about it. Think about it. Use your brain, use your intuition, use your empathic skills, but particularly use your intuition. It's there for a reason. I would also say that when you're opening yourself up to someone or to a situation, make sure that that person realizes that you're new at it. Actually, this is something that I've been doing a lot, where I'm like, I've been closed off for a while now, but I'm thinking about opening up again. And I've been telling my friends and family about it, particularly my friends, because they understand it a little bit more. My family can see it, actually. They can see the results of my opening up. They can see that I'm trying to open up to them, and they're very, very enthusiastic about it. And so explain it to the people that are around you, especially people you trust. And obviously, hopefully, you're only opening up to people that you trust, because it is your first time out again. You are a babe in the woods, so just be careful. And the people that you trust, you can tell them, I've been closed off for so long, and I'm sure you've noticed it, but I'm trying to open up again. I think it's good for me, but I'd really like your support in it. And I know it's like these words they seem like, oh my God, I could never say that. But again, this is the whole point of being vulnerable. This is the whole point of opening yourself up. This is the whole point of not being a closed off box anymore. You start doing things that you're not used to doing. You're getting out of your comfort zone. You're getting out of your cave. You're getting out of your zone of doing and becoming a person that does something different. Yeah, this is not how you have to live the rest of your life. Yeah, you don't want to be like the person that, I was living like that 30 years ago and I'm still living like that now, so nothing's changed. It's not a point of pride. It shouldn't be a point of pride that we stay exactly the same. Human beings are supposed to evolve. We're supposed to grow. That's how we like it, I think. I can't imagine not growing, not learning, not moving forward. It would be such a stale, stagnant life. But that's what happens when we close ourselves off, that we become stale, we become stagnant, that no new energy is allowed to come into our lives, and no freshness can come into our lives. That's why a lot of our INFJs, when we close ourselves off, we become depressed and sad and bitter and cynical, because there's no fresh new energy coming into our lives. We're becoming stale. We're becoming like a stagnant pool of water. We're becoming toxic. We're becoming filled with germs and pathogens and bacteria and viruses, right? It's not good. In general, not good. And as soon as you open yourself up, there is a fresh influx of energy and ideas and other good stuff. But of course, it's going to be a little bit overwhelming at first. You're not going to know how to deal with it. So as I said, that's why it's very important that you keep up with your self-care. Because we're not just going into a situation thinking, all right, I can handle this. I'm strong. You're not that strong. You're still newbie at it because you haven't been doing it for that long. So go into it slowly. Be nice to yourself. Be kind to yourself. You don't need to do everything today. Do a little bit of opening today. Do like an hour of it, maybe half an hour, 15 minutes. Whatever you can handle, and then increase it slowly over time, a long period of time. You can take as long as you want. There's no urgency with it, yeah? There's no timeline or deadline that says, all right, I have to open up 100% by July 15th or by, no, there's nothing like that, right? So you can do whatever you want. You can take your time with it, okay? I hope these few tips help you. Again, I'm not an expert on this. I've been closed off of myself for so long, and I'm very much trying to be open again, especially to masculine energy, and that's like a big one and a very difficult one for me. So again, hopefully if it doesn't make sense or if you need more, then obviously let me know and I'll do a follow-up video on this. I'm sure there's a lot more I could say on the subject. If it does help, let me know. I'd love to know if I was able to help your situation. If you are opening up, good luck. I know that you will need it. It's a difficult thing, but I know that we can do it. Again, thank you for watching, and I shall see you the next time around. Bye for now.